All right, welcome to today's mentorship with yours, Coach Samuel Ibanda. And we are here to, again, learn more about how to basically revamp our careers, okay? This is part of a series we have done. We've done CVs, we've also done LinkedIn, and then we are having, we're again looking at again, the aspect of how to earn a promotion at your current job. I've noted that in the comment section. We'll do that. So basically what we want to understand here is how do people grow at their current jobs, okay? Now, one of the things that I've seen, especially in careers, is that many people can join organizations, but few have the opportunities to actually grow to become, to attain senior positions in the organizations. I know some of you might have attained some of these, and some organizations, by the way, some organizations have systematic, progressive, let's say, promotions in the organizations, and I think this is much common in audit firms. But also, you find some organizations where for you to grow, you actually need to take your own initiative, okay? You need to take your own initiative as an individual. And that's what I want to basically concentrate on, okay? How do you influence your career growth in the organization, okay? So I want you to listen in and be able to note whatever you can note. And I'll be able to share a lot around my personal story, because at least I've earned about three promotions in my career, okay? And that has happened within 2 organizations that I've worked for. So, and why, of course, promotion is very important is when you join an organization, okay? When you join an organization, you used to join this organization with something in mind. It should not only about the position that you're actually joining at. And that's why I usually encourage, or I usually advise my mentees that before you join an organization, find out what is your career progression in such an organization, okay? And I think we've seen this, especially when you come joining in for maybe for interviews, and they ask you questions of, where do you see yourself in 5 years, okay? This question is usually asked at the panel because they want to see that you have ambition yourself, okay? Now, from experience, what I want to say is that in some organizations, unless you come out, okay, unless you show that you're actually interested, you're going to find yourself in circumstances where no one is giving you room to grow, okay? No one is giving you room to grow. And one of the things that I also want to emphasize around this aspect of promotion and career growth within the organization is the aspect that it's much easier to actually grow in an organization that you're part of than growing outside the organization, okay? I know some people can move from one organization to the other and attain career growth, but you have a very good ground to grow in the organization where you are at, okay? So that is something that you need to have in mind, that you have an advantage over anyone else that has not yet joined the organization, okay? So that is something that we want to basically discuss today, so you can basically understand how your journey will be like and what exactly do you need to do, okay? To be able to at least get to that point in time where you are also growing, okay? Of course, we know the importance of actually growing. The importance of growing, it means that you're growing in your salary. Now, one of the things that you agree with me is that no matter how much salary increment you can get, the best salary increment comes with a promotion, okay? You know, you can be in that role as an officer, as an engineer, as an accountant, but the best way to increase your earning in the organization is actually to earn a promotion, okay? And to me, through my experience, one of the things that has really worked for me is that most of my promotions that have come through have more than doubled my pay, okay? I've more than doubled my pay. And what does that helps me is I'm able to now move in terms of my earnings, okay? So that is why it's very important. And one of the things that I also want for you to pick from my discussion also is also understanding that for you to grow is totally your responsibility, okay? It's totally your responsibility. And of course, there are other factors that come into play, especially for my friends who are already there and maybe you might have faced challenges along the way. But where you have a kind of system that is open for growth, then the responsibility actually lies within you, okay? So that is why it's very important that you understand that from the start, even as you join the organization. I want to tell you, one time I joined an organization with basically the organization I was joining, the position that I was joining at was not really something that attracted me. But what attracted me was the next position ahead in that role. So that is why I'm saying, when you join an organization, yours is to look out what is my line of growth, okay? And that is why you see, I better remain in an organization where I see some level of growth than moving to an organization where I basically see the organization is very small or my department is very small. So there is no basically growth for me, okay? So that is why when you're joining an organization, you use it to first find out, do I have a chance to grow here, okay? And organizations that are a bit, of course, large and have diverse teams have opportunities to grow, and you agree with me, okay? Now, even when you're searching for a job right now, this information is very helpful to you because in the same way, at one point in time, you want to grow, okay? Now, one of the things that I've come to realize from experience and from the people that I've worked with, and also clients that I've served through my coaching sessions, is that for you to grow in an organization, it requires certain things that you're supposed to do, okay? And this career growth sometimes comes in terms of, it may not come ideally in terms of, let's say, change in position, but it can also come through change in responsibilities, okay? Or change in pay as well, okay? But here we're trying to look at promotion. If you're an officer, you're becoming a senior officer. If you're an accountant, you're becoming a senior accountant. Maybe if you're an engineer, you're becoming a senior engineer, and so on. That is if you're an auditor, maybe you're becoming a senior auditor. Or if you're senior auditor already, maybe you're becoming an audit manager or assistant audit manager, whatever it is, okay? So that is something for you to take home. Now, I want to emphasize key things that you need to make sure that you do to increase your chances of being promoted, okay? And such promotions can happen within 6 months after joining the organization, or within 1 year, or within 2 years. But ideally, what is very much common is that this promotion at least will come at least when you've served within the organization, and at least when they have seen the work that you've always done, okay? So that is something that you need to take into consideration. Now, I have certain principles that I want to share with you, and I will request you that if you have a pen, you will note this because they are very important for you, okay? And these have helped me, okay? These have helped me to grow, and I believe they can also help you to as well grow. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that you need to do, especially when you in an organization, okay, if you want to grow within the organization, of course, the first thing that you should look at, okay, the first thing you should look at is visibility. Okay. The first thing you should look at is visibility within the organization. Okay. And what I mean by visibility in the organization is the aspect of making sure that at least you're seen, okay? Now, the being seen could vary, okay? This could be within your department. This could be within the wider organization. This could be even within your clients, okay? Within the clients of the organization and so on. Now, what visibility exactly helps you is that your hard work does not just go unnoticed, okay? And of course, visibility does not mean you're going to be visible for the wrong things. You have to be visible for the right things, okay? Now, visibility can also be related to what we call personal branding, okay? Visibility is also so much related to what we call personal branding. Now, personal branding, if you remember when we were trying to speak about career growth, okay, about LinkedIn and so on. Now, LinkedIn gives you the personal branding outside the organization. Within the organization, what will help you is the personal branding that you're doing within the organization, okay? And there are certain things that you can actually do to increase your visibility that I'm going to share with you, okay? There are certain things that you can do within the organization to increase your visibility. I know some of us that are part of this, this session are people who basically have maybe challenges with being seen, okay? You basically, your lifestyle is, you just want to be in that cocoon and you don't really want other people to see you, okay? All you want to do is you do your work, finish it, and that is gone. So you have to get off your comfort zone and start to be seen. And to be seen comes through the work that you do, okay? Now, don't just do the work, don't just do basically the work in the ordinary way. Find a way that you can do work in an extraordinary way. Add something. There's one of the things that says that you are paid monthly for your job description, okay, for what you do according to your job description. But what will promote you is doing beyond your job description. And that notion is very true, okay? You'll find it very, very true even along your journey. So you have to start to work beyond just what you're doing, okay? And be open to learning, okay? And this learning could come in terms of a delegation. Maybe somebody's delegating to you or your manager, but it could also be through personal initiatives. I'll give you an example. If you're, let's say maybe an accountant who is handling, let's say, payables, okay? Or maybe if maybe you're an administrator in the organization. Yours is to see, where do I want, like what role do I want next in my career in this organization, okay? And see, how can I start on learning? And sometimes when you give yourself out there as a person who wants to learn, you actually give them the opportunity to learn, okay? So that is why you need to see that this is where I want to be and what exactly am I actually doing, okay? So that is something that you need to have in mind, that as I want to be visible, I need to go beyond just what I'm doing and start also trying to do the things that are ahead of me, okay? So that is something that you basically need to take into consideration. So you be open to opportunities that make you visible. I'll give you an example. One time in the organization, one of the managers that I was reporting to resigned. That was the finance manager. And I actually stood in for them. During that time, the organization has a long recruitment process. So they took about I think 3 or 4 months without having a finance manager. So I was the accountant, okay? And along that journey, it was really tough for me because I just joined the organization, and here I was acting and I was doing a lot of work. I actually even, I don't know what to call it, but it was really hectic for me. But along the way, I actually appreciated, because it was a ground for me to shine. It was a ground for me to be noticed, okay? Because in most cases, sometimes we work under bosses that cover us up, because you submit to them a document and it is only them that are seen, okay? So you need to see which opportunities actually get you out of that cocoon or out of that covering maybe you have with your boss, to see how you can basically grow. Okay, so that is something that you need to see and make sure that you're doing. So be open to any opportunities. Okay, be open to any opportunities. And then also one of the other things you also need to do when it comes to visibility. Okay, so we have these so-called company meetings, departmental meetings, and so on. Now, within these meetings, be somebody who is active. Okay, and some of the things I'm telling you are things that seem to be simple, but there's a way they keep on building on your personal brand as an individual. Okay, within the organization. So be visible. Don't just go to a meeting, finish all the 2 hours without not being heard. Be a person who can be heard, who either you give an idea or you ask a question. Okay, let you leave a meeting at least with a submission, with something, so that, and you see, in most cases, for you to get a promotion, there are many people who will have, let's say, interest in this. It could be your boss alone, but some organizations, this could be something that is wholesome, that other people also will have interest in your promotion as well. Even when it comes to, let's say, the CEO as well. Okay, so your visibility, somebody will say, that person is very active, and somebody, you just maybe make a constructive submission within a meeting, and that alone will make the other person change their perception about you. Okay, they will know you as somebody who is informed, so that even when your boss, let's say, leaves the organization, or there's a new project that has come up, when they propose your name in any boardroom, people will say, yes, that person is suited for this role. Okay, so it's very important. And some of these things you may not get them right now, let's say within your career, but ahead of you there, these things really come your way. Okay, these things really come your way once you start doing that. Okay, and not only meetings, the other is also being able to network with your colleagues that are beyond your team. Okay, network with your colleagues that are beyond the team. And this, I mean, for example, you are an accountant, you have the marketing department, you have the procurement department, like you're a support function. Okay, and by support function, you work with respective people. Now, the feedback that you get from the people that you serve is very important. Okay, because just a small comment on the way you work could actually open a door for you or close the door for you. Okay, so the people that you work with, make sure you build a strong relationship, and not only just a strong relationship, but a reliable relationship. We call it reliable business partnership. Okay, reliable business partnership. Now, all these things that I'm saying is that some people take them for granted. All they think is because I do my work, my boss gives me a good review and so on. But you don't know. One of the things that when I joined one of the organizations, I thought my boss was the one who was to influence my promotion. But guess what? Within just a very small period of time, the boss had left. Okay, and I needed again to create another track record. Okay, that was to help me be able to grow within the organization. So make sure you're not only limiting to your department or to your leader or manager, but you're also growing beyond just your department. And it's not only just that, but also being able to understand what some of these departments do. Okay, because if you are within the organization, yours is to make sure that you understand at least what the organization does. What is the organization up to? It's not about just being an engineer, an accountant, or an administrator, or an HR person. Yours is to look beyond what exactly is the organization doing, and how can I continuously be part of this journey that the organization is actually taking. Okay, so that's very important. And that's why you see it's good to network with the other departments, other people that are within the organization. Okay, so that is something that is very important in helping you build your visibility. Okay, and then also within your visibility as well is relates around the work that exactly you do, okay? So I've talked about being able to serve rightly the people that you're serving. If you're a person who is client facing, your clients also have an impact. How you serve them has an impact in terms of how your growth will be like in an organization, because some clients are very strategic clients that one comment on the way you perform would actually influence a decision, okay? Now, when it comes to promotion, and why I'm now so much focusing on the people factor element here, is that promotions come with a lot of, it's sometimes not even beyond your, and that's why I've not started with your professional development. The professional development is very key, okay? In an organization. And the professional development is very key in a way that you need to make sure that you understand what the next level in your promotion requires. But also, what I'm trying to say here is that your promotion has a lot of 60, actually not 60%, but about 70% is basically how you work in the organization and how you work with other people. That is what exactly happens. So some people basically, they take some of these things for granted, and you find them in situations where they are saying, either I'm not favored, either I'm not, maybe they don't like me, and so on, okay? And of course, I will not say these circumstances don't work, don't happen. Such things do happen in organizations, but yours is to continue to do the right thing despite that, okay? And also to continue looking for an environment that gives you room for growth, okay? Like I said, before you join an organization, yours is to make sure that you at least done some kind of research to see how growth has actually happened. One of the things that by the way, I usually do sometimes with the availability of LinkedIn, every time I'm applying for a new job, or every time I'm being invited for an interview, mine is to go and look out for people who have worked in this organization, okay? And LinkedIn provides you this information. Just search about the organization, and then you're able to go to that point of time where they show you employees. Just try to check through at least maybe 10 employees and see what has been their career like, okay, within such an organization. And even if you have somebody who is an insider, ask them, okay, to find out what is it. In most cases, if at least a good number of people have grown within that organization, then it is highly likely that such an organization actually has a good ground for you to grow, okay? So that is very important. So your visibility is very, very key when it comes to being able to grow within the organization, okay? Now, one of the other things that I want to comment when it comes to being you making sure that you grow, okay, is the aspect of course, the work that you do, okay? The work that you do will represent you and will open doors for you. The work that you do will represent you and open doors for you. And this work, by this work, I mean the work that you do needs to be exceptional, okay? And you need to build trust. Now, in most cases, the senior roles will require you to do work that is beyond your level, okay? And some of this work will sometimes need less supervision. Now, if you're in a role and you still struggle with just the work that you do within that role, then it's high likely that you're still a long way to your growth, okay? Now, yours is to make sure that you master the work that you're doing and you do it excellently, okay? By excellent, I mean you do it at a point in time where your boss doesn't even have to review your work. Once you send them a document, they're able to move it to the next level, okay? Now, when you continue like that, at a point in time A or B, when there's an opportunity to grow, because your boss has built trust in your work, and also the organization and other departments also understand that your work is to that point where they can trust it, I believe that will open your way. I have had cases where a junior works on some document, sends it to you because you're in a hurry, you also send it to the next level. And by the time it gets somewhere, it just bounces back through the same levels. And the that embarrassment that you make through that process is a reputation that will take you time to clear, okay? Because even sometimes these documents have reached clients. If you, for example, an auditor and you've prepared a document and you, instead of just maybe reading through the document, you've sent a document with another client's name, okay? And maybe this person may even be a competitor. And at the end of the day, that document just comes back with the same fire down, okay? And that reputation itself is not easily cleared, okay? So you have to make sure that you build the reputation with your work. If we say that this person is on this assignment, we need to make sure that we have all the confidence that this person can actually do this work beyond just what we even think, okay? Like, it's just like serving a customer, okay? When you serve a customer and you serve beyond expectation, this customer becomes loyal to you. It's the same thing with the organization. When you serve them with that hard work and all your enthusiasm and exceptionality, you build loyalty, both for your boss, but as well as for the organization, okay? So that is something that you need to make sure that we are actually taking into consideration. Now, with that in mind, us making sure that we are doing greater work. Now, yours is also make sure that you, as you do your work, as you do the exceptional work, like I said, build the visibility, okay? Visibility and your work needs to go hand in hand, because I know some people do good work, but the good work is not seen. Like I said, sometimes your work is confined, let's say, by your boss because you're reporting to them. And I told you that use other platforms to actually help you create that brand. Because if you're going to a meeting, your boss will not really limit you from giving an idea in a meeting, okay? So if your boss ideally is covering you, maybe you're still a junior, at least you have other platforms to be able to shine, okay? So that is something that you need to make sure that you are also fostering every day. And then also in the same way, make sure that you're now also working on your skills development or professional development. Those two things work hand in hand. And when I say skills development, means what are the skills that are required for your next level, okay? Now, for example, if you're, I'll still use an accountant because that is a career I understand much better. But if you want to become a manager, then you need to have at least a managerial skill, okay? The managerial skill needs to reflect in you. And this may not be, for example, through within the organization, but even just taking a simple course on management is something that can help you to actually develop that skill, okay? And what that helps is it builds your CV, okay? Now, one of the things that you need to know within the organization is that even in the promotions that you're interested in will sometimes require you to actually apply for them. And I've seen certain people who have reached out to me and have told me, because I'm in this organization and they have advertised for this job, when I'm there, then it doesn't mean any sense for me to apply. And I'm like, if you have what it takes, why not compete? Because if this opportunity has been advertised externally, you have a greater advantage than the people that are actually in the organization. Maybe they advertise it externally because they didn't know that you actually have what it takes, okay? So develop your skills in advance. And I told you the best way for you to know which skills are required, just look at your boss, the next boss you're reporting to, because that will give you a better picture of what it takes. It's not that you're planning to overtake your boss. And one of the things that I want to encourage you is when you aspiring for promotion, be open to growth even beyond just the next role of your boss, okay? because your boss may not leave the organization, but another opportunity might come up along the way that can actually give you room to grow. Maybe another branch is opened up, maybe another project comes up, maybe let's say the organization just grows and now needs, let's say, more than 1 or 2 people at your manager's level. So they are going to again have another manager. So be open and don't just have that mindset that promotion, my boss is still here, they cannot go anywhere, okay? So if you're in that circumstance, just make sure that at least you know very well that you are doing your best, okay? So in addition to the skills, make sure that you're developing yourself professionally. I think some of you must have seen my story today that appeared in the Daily Monitor. And one of the things that was being shared in that story was how the CPA course helped me to actually grow. Now, to me as an accountant, the CPA course plays a key role because for me to take on higher positions in certain organizations, I need to have it, okay? And that is why I took my time very fast to actually earn it, okay? I took my time very fast to earn it because I knew that that is what will actually take me there. So it's the same thing for you as well. Yours is to look at yourself and see, where do I want to be? In what role do I want to go to, okay? Now, some of these courses may take a lot of time, maybe 1 year or 2 years, but I want to really guarantee you that you're doing this course but this course will have a greater impact to your career. There are some people who have been in your organization for over several years. People come, find them, people grow, and these people remain in the same place. I'll give you an example. When I joined where I'm working currently, when I joined Save the Children, when I joined as an accountant, I joined at that point in time, there were other people in the organization as well, okay? But I want to tell you that my growth that happened between from becoming an accountant to becoming a finance manager in the organization happened at a time when there are other people who also wanted to grow, but they didn't have what it took to actually get there, okay? So me having the skills and having the knowledge was actually leveraged to me, okay? So that is why you see, don't just become just what you have. And also one of the things that I've also come to realize is every time you add a qualification or every time you add a paper onto your CV, make sure that your boss is aware of this information, okay? As long as you know that this thing is related to your work, even if they are not going to increase your salary, even if they are not going to do what, let them know. Now, every time you add a skill or you add an academic document and you let your boss aware of this advancement, okay? There's a way you build a better reputation to them that even when, you know, some opportunities might come and they may not consult you or they may not even let you know. By the time you know about it, a decision has already been made. Now, you get to a point in time and someone says, but we didn't know you were actually pursuing this course. We actually didn't know you had a master's, okay? So it's very important that even as you develop your skills, even as you go back to school, let your boss know about what you're doing, okay? As long as you have a good relationship. And one of the things that I also want to emphasize, just in addition to skills and professional development, is the relationship you have with your supervisor, okay? The relationship you have with your supervisor is very key in determining your growth in your organization, okay? I've talked about network with other organizations, with other departments. I've talked about the visibility. I've just spoken about the skills and professional development. One of the important things is your relationship with your boss. It's very important, okay? Because in a diverse organization, the person whom they will first contact about your growth is the person whom you're reporting to, okay? And if you have a challenge in the relationship between you and your boss, it is highly likely that your growth in such an organization will have a big challenge, okay? And that's why I said building loyalty with your boss does not just come into having casual relationships, or maybe just conversing and being able to share. It's about the trust you build with them, okay? The trust you build starting from your work, okay? But also being able to build that kind of relationship where they understand you and they also understand your career aspirations. Now, you get to organizations where somebody wants to grow, but that has never appeared anywhere. Even the person you're reporting to just thinks maybe you're comfortable. By the way, one of the things that you also get to realize is that in organizations, once they find you doing your work very well, okay? Once you're doing your work very well and they see you comfortable, I want to tell you that any supervisor or any manager or any owner of the organization will be the happiest to leave you in that position because you're doing a great work, okay? But yours is to say, yes, I'm doing great work in this role, but it's just beyond. It's just beyond what you're saying. I want to grow beyond this role, okay? So that's why it's very important that when you want to grow, you actually start to demonstrate to the other people that you actually want to grow, okay? And that comes when somebody hears you've gone back to school, you've increased the skill, somebody will definitely they open their eyes. One of the times I was interacting with one of my bosses, and that time I think I'd just finished my professional course and just added a few skills there. So they told me I think I'd actually gotten another position in another organization, and what exactly happened? Like I went to inform them, to share with them that had gotten another offer in another organization, and you know what they told me? Told me that when you actually finish that course, I actually knew you wanted to grow, okay? I knew you wanted to grow. So that is what shows you that in the organization, there are signs that you do that will make the other party know that this person is not comfortable with just the work that they are doing. And like I said, the skills and involvement you're doing, but as well as being able to take on responsibility, okay? Being able to be open to responsibilities makes this person feel like, okay, this is a time for this person to grow. Now, one of the other things that I also want to emphasize on here is, now, at what point in time do you say, I'm going now to face my boss? Maybe I've been in your organization for a very long period of time, and I feel it's my time to grow. I feel I've served for 2 or 3 years in this role, and I need to have a conversation with my boss, okay? Now, and this works, by the way, but for me, it has worked for me at one point in time. And I want to tell you that these bosses that we have are human, okay? And like I said, if you don't open up to them, sometimes they may think you're comfortable, okay? They may think you have less responsibilities, you don't need to grow your salary. They may think you're just happy with just your life, okay? But when you start that conversation, then it opens their mind. The promotion may not come in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, even in a year. But I want to tell you that that conversation that you have with them will actually open a door for you at one point in time. If you have a boss that wishes you the best, and if there are also opportunities to grow, okay? One of the things that you need to understand when it comes to growth is that growth will happen where there's an opportunity, okay? And my whole discussion for today is around you being able to prepare for that opportunity when it comes, okay? Yeah. So that is why that's why I'm trying to bring this conversation down to now. If you want to grow, how do you now start the conversation, okay? Let's say you've worked in this organization for, let's say, maybe 1 or 2 years. You have the skills for the next level. You actually have done your work very well, okay? And then there are actually opportunities. You see room for growth, okay? Maybe you see an opportunity that has come through, or maybe somebody has resigned, and you feel it's a time for you to actually to reach out to them to say, I want now to grow, okay? Now, if that is you, if that is what you want to start on, one of the things that there are certain key principles that I want to basically highlight to you here. And if you're noting them down, you can really note them down, okay? One of the things that I want you to do is, as you prepare through your journey, okay, of making sure that you want to face your boss, yours is to first do a personal assessment, okay? Do a personal assessment of how you have been doing your work, okay? Of how you've been doing your work and how you've added value. Basically, you're trying to build what we call your presentation, okay? You're trying to build your facts, okay? The facts that you want to present to your boss. And as you do that, one of the things that I want you to be is to be authentic, okay? By authentic means that make sure that you just don't want to be promoted, but you actually deserve it. That even when you tell another external person about your journey, about what you've done, this person will listen and feel you actually need to grow. Now, it's the same thing when it comes to, and you know, when it promotion, especially when you're facing your boss for a promotion, this also works hand in hand with a pay rise, okay? Because in the discussion with your boss, you may not basically earn the promotion, but you can actually earn a pay rise, okay? And this is how I want you to go about this process. Now, you don't just front it to somebody and say, I want to be promoted, okay? One of the things that you want to do, especially in your approach, is try to see that you bring it in a way that you actually want to learn more, okay? You feel the work that you're doing is, yes, you've done this work for this period of time, but you feel you want to learn maybe something different or something that is ahead of you, okay? So it comes through a proposal to learn more, but then it also comes in terms of maybe you've attained just a recent qualification, and then maybe you want to apply some of the knowledge you've earned from that qualification. The other could be maybe to do with, let's say, also when it comes to, let's say, maybe you've achieved a lot within your current role, okay? Now, and that's why you see the best thing that you actually going to front to your boss, especially in your negotiation for a higher pay or promotion, are some of your past achievements, okay? And that's why continuous, just like the way you do your performance reviews. And I want to tell you that the performance review time is one of the best times for you to start a conversation for your growth, okay? As well as a conversation for, let's say, a pay rise negotiation, okay? So your achievements are very, very key, okay? When you're actually negotiating for a promotion or you are negotiating for a career rise, a pay rise. And like I said, as you do that, make sure that you see an opportunity, okay? So that you have something that you to point to and say, there's an opportunity here. This person just left the organization and I feel I can actually cover them up. I feel I have the right skills. I feel I have what it actually takes, okay? So that is something that you need to have in mind, even as you're trying to push through your role. Now, in the same way, one of the things that you also need to understand when it comes to facing your boss is to make sure that you choose a right timing, okay? And by right timing, I mean, like for example, I gave you an example. If it's after a performance review, and let's say you've done well, you can easily use that time to actually front your desire to grow or front your desire to get at least a more pay, okay? And also when it comes to times where, for example, it's let's say the end of the year, or maybe you've finished 2 years in the organization, like during your work anniversaries, okay? Those are times when you can have maybe also discussions with your boss and say, I've now spent 5 years in this organization, and I feel I can offer more to the organization based on my skills, based on my experience, I think, and also based on my career ambitions. I feel I would really request for an opportunity to actually grow beyond just the work that I'm doing, okay? So that can also be a good ground for you to create it with your boss. Now, one of the other things that also you do, like in the same way, ask for time to discuss with your boss. And how this happens is, do this formally, okay? You could write for them an email and say, we would like to meet, okay? Maybe ask them for an appointment, and then they give you the appointment. Now, what this helps is it makes it more formal, and the other person feels more, they feel to listen to you more, okay? So that is something to understand. One of the things that I also need to emphasize here is sometimes some organizations or some managers, okay, only want to listen to you when they see that maybe you found another opportunity, another organization, okay? And this is something that sometimes you see when in your organization, they may think you have nowhere else to go, okay? And I've used this one time and it worked for me somehow. And I want to say that it can also work for you if you adopt it. Now, one of the things that you could basically do is, if you feel there's still a struggle in your growth, maybe you've done some of the things that I'm trying to indicate, and you feel you still find some challenges in growing, yours is to say, what can I exactly do? Okay, so you've tried to find opportunities outside. And if you feel this organization still has room for you to grow, if you get an opportunity outside, yours is to open up to the boss and say, guess what? I've found this opportunity. And this has worked for some people. I've found this opportunity. And yes, I feel it has maybe has a better pay, has this, but I feel to you as the organization I work for, that I've worked for this period of time, I feel I still need to give my organization a chance, okay, on my career. And you're able to start your conversation from there. Some people may want to listen to you at that point in time, but if that is not the case, yours is to build it up based on what? Based on your past achievements in the organization, and also build it on aspects of what exactly you've done. Sometimes it can also be, by the way, increase in responsibilities. A case in example, you joined as, let's say, maybe you joined as an officer, and the work that you were doing is basically more of an officer, okay? But over time, your work has changed. Now, if your work has changed, that should be a point in time for you to actually ask for growth, okay? Either in pay or position, okay? So that is something that you need to do. And also, throughout the process, even as you try to pitch for your growth or promotion, one of the things that I want to ask you is remain authentic and professional, okay? Now, one of the things that I want to tell you is that, yes, you can actually grow. You can actually grow within an organization, but there are times when you ask for this growth at a wrong period of time, or where there's no opportunity, or where your boss feels you don't have what it takes to actually grow, okay? From your perspective, you may think you're actually ready, but when your boss feels, and sometimes they may promise you, okay? For example, one time I'd gotten an offer in one other organization. So I discussed with my boss, and my boss told me, we may not have an opportunity right now to, let's say, counter offer this, but they promised, they say, if an opportunity shows up, you'll actually become a first priority, okay? And that, it took me about 6 months for something like that to actually happen. And I was able to attain the growth, okay? So it's the same thing as well for you. Remain professional, and even when you get a no from your boss, make sure that you come back and do your work professionally, continue shining, so that even after the discussion and you come back to your work and you're doing great work, they will actually reach a point in time where they feel like they actually need to action, okay? To action your progress, okay? So that is something that is very, very good. And then also in the same way, remain passionate about your work. Now, sometimes you think that people are not seeing your energy on the work that you do. Sometimes you do work and your energy is very low, even whatever you do, the assignments you do, the time you take to accomplish them and so on, it will definitely always reflect your work will definitely represent you, and it will show the kind of energy that you put into your work. So be passionate about your work. And one of the things that I want to tell you is that if you find you really don't have passion for the work that you're doing, then it's better to find your way out, okay? Love your work, love the work that you do. When you love the work that you do, this will make you even shine more within the organization, okay? So that is something that is you need to take forward. So that is what I can basically say. So they have some questions here. They have some questions here. Okay, I think it was to do with Perina says, for my case, when I put qualifications on my file and my boss's knowledge, the more I'm tortured. What can I do? Okay, so I've basically talked about bad bosses and not bad bosses, but tough bosses, or yeah, we could call them bad bosses. So like I said, your boss has a big influence on your growth, okay? And even when it comes to let's say recommending you for a pay rise, they are very key. So one of the things that you need to do is, especially when you're looking for growth, it's not only about, okay, it could be about your boss, but it's not only about your boss, but they are what we call them decision makers, okay? And these are usually, let's say, they're like strategic people within the organization, okay? And these strategic people within the organization can help you override the relationship you have with your boss, okay? And this could be the CEO, this could be maybe if you're, let's say you're an auditor and then you have maybe you report to an audit manager, they could be maybe a partner in the organization. Try to create a ground where they are able to help you in your circumstance, okay? And it's not about speaking ill about your boss, but building that relationship at that level so that they also understand your value, okay? Because one of the things that I want to tell you, by the way, in general, if I was to summarize this whole thing, is your growth is determined by the value that you bring to the organization, okay? Now, if your boss is somebody who has issues with you, and this happens, we are humans, that happens so much. Find ways of how to build strategic alliances, okay? And key relationship with people that are beyond just you, okay? And sometimes it could be just in a single assignment or an initiative within the organization where they ask for people to volunteer and you take initiative in them, okay? Now that opens for you a door in another line where you're able to shine that other side, okay? So that happens. And of course, if it's a general thing that maybe you're adding each time you add papers or qualifications onto your file, of course, one of the reasons why sometimes they may come out to feel like it's not something that is good for you to earn this qualification is the pressure you put to them, okay? Like I told you, every time you add a qualification, you actually putting some level of pressure onto these people to feel like this person either wants to leave the organization, either this person wants to grow and we cannot grow them right now. If it's your boss might feel like you want to take their job. That might happen as well. But I think there's one thing that if I want to advise you is called emotional intelligence, okay? You basically being able to read beyond what you actually seeing to see is this where I really need to grow, okay? And I want to tell you that I've worked with several organizations, and they're organizations where I've been part of, and I've really done my analysis and I've felt like there's no growth for me here, okay? And I've really put my step out. And that's why you see, never let your growth depend on your boss, okay? Your next boss or the organization you're working with. Always try your best to see if I'm told I'm not growing this organization, find ways of how you can grow within another organization, okay? And that's why we've done through the job search strategy, where we went through the CVs and then the LinkedIn, and then we shall also do the interviews as well. But try to find room for growth somewhere else, okay? If you feel you've tried all your best, you've tried whatever I have said, and it's not working out, because the longer you actually stay in that organization, the longer it will actually be even hard for you to move to another organization, okay? Because you're still in the same position, you want to move to another organization. Now, another organization, again, you have to move again at the same level, okay? Now, if you've been in an organization for, let's say, 4 years, another organization is not going to trust you to become, let's say, a senior auditor or a senior accountant or a senior engineer. It's going to also first want to take you through the, let's say, the engineering role, or the accountant's role, or the auditor role, or the auditor assistant role, okay? Now, and that is why you see, before you actually waste all that time within the single organization, if after 3 years you don't see any room for growth, find ways of how to really find ways of getting out, okay? So that is something that plays much, okay? One time I think I was part of, I was under a boss who was not qualified like I was, okay? And there's a way they felt. Also, actually, one time even I went for my exams for one of the courses that I was doing, and I had to go for a disciplinary, okay, meeting, because I went and did my exams. So that happens. Remember, you're working with people. It's basically about relationships and understanding what kind of relationship do I have with this person within this organization, okay? And this is not a one-day thing, by the way. This is a continuous process to see, what can I exactly do? What am I doing to actually grow, okay? So that is something that you need to take into consideration. Study the environment, study the people that you're working with, and see who can actually defend me in the boardroom, like where I'm not, okay? So find people that you think, even when your boss says you're not performing, find people that can actually say, this person actually does a great work, okay? Even before your boss can comment, somebody has already given you a plus. And that's why I talked about building relationship with other people in other departments. Your boss may not give you that leverage or that ground to grow, but other people may give certain comments that other people may make decisions based on what other people have said, okay? So that is something that is very important that you need to do, okay? And like we indicated, make sure that you're not just doing your work. Like I said, go beyond your work, okay? Go beyond just your work and make sure that you are doing exceptional work in the service you're offering to your clients, to let's say to the next boss, to your boss, or to even the departments that you're serving, okay? So that is something that is very true. And then one of the other things that I also want you to do is identify power structures within the organization, okay, that influence the decisions, okay? Because you can easily know that this person has a greater impact on the decision for my growth. Those are the people that you need to be able to develop sort of relationship with. Even as you enter the organization, those are the things that you should do in the 90 days. Yours is to find out. You can even have some of these conversations with people that are ahead of you, okay? And I also encourage you that if there are people in the organizations that have grown from your level to another level, create some time with them, some conversations with them, to ask them what would have played, what are their top 5 things that played a key role in their growth. And you'll be able to hear from them, okay? They will be able to help you, and they'll be able to give you some of this kind of information that you may actually need, okay? So that is why it's very important. And then what's one of the other things that you also need to know when it comes to growth. Now, one of the things, especially for my friends that are still in their early career years. Now, your growth will not just be on your technical competence, but also in your soft skills. And that's why you see the soft skills are very key, okay? And by soft skills, I'm meaning things like communication, how you communicate with other people, either verbally or through written. It's very important, okay? It's very important, and it's a representative of you, okay? So you need to build your soft skills. You need to build your confidence, okay? Now, because if you don't believe in yourself, if you're not confident enough, that means people will not be confident to give you responsibility, okay? So you need to build your confidence. And then one of the other things that you also need to build is your team working skills, okay? Team working skills. Now, remember, you're going to be a manager. You're aspiring to be a manager, or you're aspiring to be a senior, whatever it is. And one of the things that you realize right now, let's say you're just you as you don't have anyone you supervise, okay? Now, you used to ask yourself, I want to become a manager, I'm going to supervise people, but do I have the necessary skill, okay, that I can be able to supervise others? And that's where the teamwork, the interpersonal skills come in, okay? And somebody will be watching you, by the way. Somebody will know that this person, if we promote them, they will actually do great work because let's say they have been seen to work in the team. You know, it's not about just, especially when it comes to levels of senior leadership, let's say managerial positions, it's totally not about your technical competence. It's about how to work with people to drive results, okay? So you need to develop those skills. Like I said, look at what exactly your boss is doing, okay? Or the person who is in the role that you want to aspire to join to, and see, how do I develop competence in some of those things, okay? In some of those things that may be required for me to get that level. So it is something that will not happen within a single day, but it is something that will happen over and over time. And it will be something that will be able to open a door for you, okay? As you develop your professional development, as you develop your skills, as you do your personal branding within the organization to be seen, as you do your professional development, all that comes into play, okay? All that keeps into play. And I know some of you are working in organizations that are transforming every day, okay? Even our professions are transforming every day. Today you have, you're using a given accounting system, the organization is installing another accounting system, maybe you're doing a given role, and this role has been manual, is now going to be automated. I think yours is to make sure that, we call it reinventing. Make sure that you're reinventing yourself every day, okay? Look out for, like, what does it require me? One of the key principles, guys, that I have taken with my career is, I either grow within the organization or I grow outside, okay? So I either find my promotion outside or I find it inside. And if it is, for example, inside, mine is to look and see what are the requirements for the next level for my career. In the same way, if it is outside, mine is also, and all this information is available. You know the people that are ahead of you that you want to get to. Yours is to interest yourself in some of what are their qualifications. Now, LinkedIn these days gives us an opportunity to even check out for some of the profiles of some of these people that in higher positions. So you're able to question yourself, how did this person get here? And I want to tell you that when you're able to check out some of these people, even talk to them, you'll be able to actually realize that some of these things that they do have actually played a greater role in making them who they are, okay? By then, things, yes, they could be favoritism in some organizations, but in most cases, the growth or promotions that happen on professional growth happen because of what you've done about it, okay? About your work, about whatever you're doing. So that is something that is very important for you. So make sure that you actually being intentional. We call it intentionality in life. And this is not only about being promoted. It's just about your wholesome life. Don't just do things ordinary. Don't just do things every day the same way. One of the key principles is if you want to attain something different in your life, then you need to do something different. You get that principle? If you want to attain something different in your life, then you have to do something different. Like you cannot achieve a different aspect in life by just remaining the same. Okay. So if there's one thing for you to take away is the aspect of change. What am I changing about the work that I'm doing? What am I changing about my qualifications? What am I changing about my skills? What am I changing about the way I relate with other people? Okay. What am I changing about the way I serve the people that I serve? Okay. So it's all through, it's very important. And like I said, make sure that you're doing things in an intentional way. Okay. If somebody gives you an assignment, yours is not to wait for the deadline. Yours is to say, can I submit this document within 2 days rather than the 3 days? With that, it keeps like, we are like, for example, one of the things that I've come to realize is each of us, we have accounts in other people's minds or in other people's lives. Now, our accounts are either get, let's say, a top up or a withdraw on them, okay? And what this means is that if I'm supervising you and maybe we're working together, every day you do, whatever you do every day either adds the value that I have a reflection on you, or it will actually reduce, okay? And that is the standard with life, just even when it comes to any other relationship. Whatever you do either builds your value to the other person, or it actually reduces on the value. So yours is to make sure that every day you're doing something that is valuable, okay? That even to you, even if it is yourself, because don't aspire to grow or to be promoted when it's not authentic, when you actually know very well that there are people who are better than you within the organization, okay? Make sure that you're doing something different every day about the work that you do, to be able to position yourself for the next level in life, okay? For the next growth. Like I said, this whole thing is very possible, okay? And if you're in an organization where you're not getting this growth, I want to tell you that find another organization that gives you that kind of growth, okay? And this is something that you don't have to debate about. Is in life, you find different characters of people. If you cannot find peace in one environment, you don't have anything that you lose by moving to, because this is your career. And like I said earlier on, we have about 20, 30 active years in our careers. Now, those years, if you waste any, even if it's 5 years of that, it's already, you're actually reducing the years that you would actually productively grow, okay? And like I said earlier on when we were starting, this is, as a person, have an ambition in life, okay? Have an ambition in life in terms of where do you see yourself at a given point in time? And this ambition should drive what you do every day, what you do every year, okay? Because if I want, for example, right now, if I want to be a CEO, or I want to be a CFO, I want to be a finance director, my current actions need to be in that direction. It means that the choices I'm making about the courses that I'm doing should be in that line. The skills that I'm developing in myself are in that line. If it comes to, let's say, if I'm moving from one organization to the other, if what I'm moving to does not drive me to that or takes me backwards, then that is not a choice for me, okay? So that is why It is something that you need to take into consideration. And you see, one of the things that also need to know is, especially when it comes to growth, when you're in your line, when you're in a given line, for example, what do I mean here is it's much easier for you to grow from being an auditor to become a senior auditor than you growing from auditor to become a senior accountant, okay? You understand that. The same thing also happens with industries. If I'm working, for example, for an NGO, and I want to find maybe growth outside, maybe in a private sector, it may be a little harder, okay? So that is why you see, in your career growth, you also need to make a decision onto which line you want to follow, okay? It's very important. You want to make a decision onto which line to follow, because every time you keep moving from one line to the other, it means that you keep taking yourself back, okay? Remember, when it comes to growth or promotion, the key factor is how long, let's say you've been in the previous role, that helps you to get promotion to the next role, okay? So that is why you see, you need to monitor your movements. And like I said, it's easier to grow in the organization you've worked for some time than finding growth in another organization. Because if you're, let's say you're an officer in that organization right now, and you find another position in another organization that is where you're also going to be an officer. Now, these are two scenarios. You're an officer, for example, earning, let's say 2 million shillings. And then there's another opportunity in another organization where you're going to earn 3 million shillings, but you're going to still be what? You're still going to be an officer. Now, this is the key principle, and I want you to basically take this from me, that before you are moved by an extra pay, yours is to make sure that you've evaluated, because just know that the new role that you're going to take is going to take you average, not less than, let's say, 1 year or 2 years to actually grow, okay? Now, in this organization, if at all you're seeing your growth a little soon, like there's an opportunity for you to grow in a very short time, I would actually encourage you to actually remain where you are and close your eyes on the money, okay? Because in most cases, we find ourselves so much attracted on the money and we forget about our career growth. Because like I said, you're an officer. If you're going to join another organization and it's going to take you again another 2 years to actually be in that role, you're going to find yourself serving in the same role for over, let's say, 7 years, okay? Because you're moving from one organization to the other, to the other, to the other, still at the same role, okay? So it's very important. But also, if you've been in an organization and you want to find growth outside to another organization, yours is also make sure that the jobs that you're applying for either do what? Either increase on responsibility in terms of maybe job description, or either it could be maybe a career development, maybe career growth, maybe you're less an accountant and you're now applying for senior accountant role. But ideally, there should be certain kind of growth. Don't just move to an organization because you just want maybe a better pay or you just want another job. Be intentional about the organizations you join and be intentional about the positions that you also take on, okay? One of the other things that you also need to know when it comes to your career growth is the aspect of your brand matters as an individual, but the brand of the organization you're working for also matters a lot, okay? The brand of yourself matters, but the brand of the organization also matters a lot, okay? And that is why I want you to start being able to make decisions, key decisions about who to work for, okay? I would rather go for a lower salary in a reputable organization than going for a higher salary in an organization that does not add value to me, okay? One of the things that you're able to get another opportunity in another organization that is better than where you are is in most cases because of where you're working, because of that brand, okay? So make sure that even the jobs that you're applying for, yours is to look through and say, what does this brand play on my career? Okay. When you're doing that due diligence of those organizations that you want to work for, yours is to look out and see, is this organization worth in my career? I one time, I think, shared with you of how I had let go a job in one of the betting companies because I realized I was totally in that time, I was already in the NGO world, and this company was giving me more money than what I was earning. But ideally, when I looked at my career, I was like, I'm taking on this role, but after let's say 2 years, if I want to move away from here, I don't have any much opportunities compared to where I am. Okay, so that is why you need to think critically about the decisions of either to move or not to move. Okay, so that is very important for you, that your career growth is also determined by your current position. Okay, so that is very important. And you see, that's in the same way why in the organization, if, for example, you're serving as maybe an accountant who is in charge of payables, okay? If the organization has an opportunity for you to grow horizontally, okay? You know, there's growth, vertical growth, and then horizontal growth. Now, vertical growth is where you have a change in position. Now, horizontal growth may be the same position, but different responsibilities, okay? Now, if the organization is not giving you the vertical growth, you try to pitch for a horizontal growth. Maybe you have other staff in the organization who are doing other kind of work. Ask for an exchange in terms of your roles, okay? For somebody to be able to do your work and then you do the other work. Now that keeps on increasing your skills, because in most cases, the role that is next, that is ahead of you in your career, is a role that requires a vast of skills and a vast of experience and technical competence. Now, if you only specialize because of the way the structure of the organization, you're only doing a specific kind of role, in most cases, it will limit your growth, okay? That is why it's important that when in your role within the department, interest yourself to learn things that are beyond what you do, things that are beyond your JD, okay? And this could be maybe you're standing in during a time when somebody's off for leave, or even just taking an initiative to say, I want to learn that software. I want to learn this. I want to learn this, okay? Now, all that you're doing is you're increasing. I think you've had cases where an opportunity shows up and they're like, but you've been doing this role and can you really do these other things, okay? But if you've taken an initiative within the organization to say that I'm actually, I can, despite the work that I've been doing, I can actually do even this other work because I've stood in for A, B, C, and D, or I've actually developed this skill, or I've actually learned this from outside the organization, whatever it is. That alone will actually give you an edge, okay? That alone will give you an edge. So that is something that you need to be able to take into consideration, okay? So a question here, somebody says, can I, just a moment. Okay. Can I take on this role? Okay. Talking about growth, if you have lost a job but will not provide growth, aka private sector business, can I take up this position as I look for a new job where there is growth? Okay. Now, in that case, yes. If at all, if you've lost a job, you can actually take on, you know, it's much easier to actually find a job when you're in a job. Every time you're applying for a job and you're indicating that you have a job, you lost your job, even when you lost your job for genuine reasons that are beyond your control, in one way or the other, somebody would want to think beyond, okay? Because you sometimes not in these areas to defend yourself. So take on a job that maybe you think can at least give you a ground, because at the end of the day also as well, you want to have at least something on your CV during the time when you're searching for the job, okay? So even when you're searching for a job, yes, you leverage so much on your previous experience, but at least somebody will know that you have another job that you're on, okay? So I would encourage you to really, for you to make sure that maybe you take on that job, okay? Maybe not even that job, but at least take on that role within, even if it's a private investor business, take whatever role it is and let that role also in a way that if this is maybe a small organization, if you can pitch for a given position, you know, for example, I'll give you an example. If let's say I'm a marketing person who, let's say, has lost my job, but I want now to find a career in maybe, let's say, maybe in finance. I'll give an example. So what I'll do is, if I'm to find another organization that I'm working with, even if it is small, the thing that I'll do is negotiate with them to actually give me a position that brings another opportunity for me, like that is an improvement in my career growth, okay? So, and this happens with small organizations. Yes, I may take on a lower pay. I can work for the lower pay, but give me a position that shows a career growth on my career, okay? So if, for example, I've been, let's say, marketeer, I can pitch, for let's say, to take on a finance role within that organization, okay? And maybe that is the kind of work that I'm doing. If maybe they're recruiting me as an administrator, maybe I can say, can I be a finance and admin, okay? So that my career line is I'm in the same still line of my growth. So that is something that you may choose to basically do as you find another opportunity, okay? Definitely you want to make sure that your CV has some correlation even with the work that you're doing, okay? So that is something that you may need to focus on as well, okay? One of the other things that has been highlighted, I'm critically thinking about leaving and concentrate on looking for a new job because I'm demoralized. A lot of advice, please. Now, one of the things that, like I indicated, it is easier to find a new job, okay, when you have a job, okay? And like I said, you may be, let's say, demotivated, demoralized, maybe because of your boss, or maybe because of the organization, maybe because of the working conditions. Of course, there are circumstances that are beyond control, and those ones, I think, especially where maybe there's harassment and whatever it is, you can actually find a way out, okay? But if at all it's not that case, it's not really the worst case, I would really advise you to stay in, okay? And just increase your job search strategy, okay? Or make sure that you're doing more searches than you've done in the past. When it comes to job search, one of the things that you need to do is, if you're very serious about it, just even create a day and say, on Wednesdays, I make sure that I send out applications, okay? And make sure that whatever opportunity you see in your line, okay, that you think you can execute, find ways of applying for it, okay? Because sometimes also you may despise a role, but when that role is actually good, okay? When you get a chance to go face the interview panel and be able to present your case, okay? So that is something that you may need to look at. So first stand in there a little and see how you can try to get away at least with a job, okay? So that is something that I can really say. But if it is worst case scenario, then I want to ask you to plan your move as well. Don't just move out, but plan your move. Of course, the planning your move would also depend so much onto your financial status as well as your ambitions as well, because sometimes you want to leave a job and say, I look for a new one, but it may take you longer than actually expected, okay? Because finding a job is not a walk in the park that you just wake up and actually apply for a job. when you in another organization or with another job, you have less pressure than when you don't have the job. Okay, so if you're there and you have this job, make sure that you can still remain there a little and see how things can go. Okay, so try to look beyond. Just try to look beyond, like the way it's indicated here. Try to look beyond and see how because one of the things that, by the way, one of the things you need to also understand is that the people that you are working with currently will have a greater influence on your career. And this may also come in terms of your professional references. These are people who are going to become your professional references at one point in time. So you need to see how you make sure that this remains more professional. Okay, you remain more professional, and make sure that when you exit, even your exit is not looked at as maybe you're dissatisfied with the current status, but you've done this professionally, you've left professionally. I believe one of the things that I want to encourage you along our career life and along our professional journey is remain as professional as possible. Okay, remain as professional as possible. Keep your values key. Okay, your values should stand key, as well as also making sure that you're not doing anything that in one way or the other could harm your career. Okay, because this world is all round. You get it. Today you're part of an organization, and another day you're actually finding yourself a similar boss on another panel for an organization that you want to join. Okay, so you want to remain as much professional as possible. Okay, so that is what I can really basically share in that line. So, of course, like I indicated, we work with people. We work with people every day, and in some circumstances, these people may, let's say, have also ambitions as well. Okay, like I said, when it comes to promotion, yours is also use the emotional intelligence of you want to grow, but which position do you want to grow to, and is it available? Okay, and then also in situations where you see that maybe the only opportunity for you to grow is within your boss's line, then you also want to be a little slow in showing your ambitions as well, because your boss will feel threatened in some cases with your ambitions. Okay, and that will affect your relationship with them, and at the end of the day, it will affect, in most cases, when you see that it's the only position for you to grow to currently in the organization, even with what you see in the future for the organization. Maybe it's not a big organization, it's a very small organization, and it is only your boss's position that you to grow to. I would really want to say that if you've served in this organization for 2-3 years, I would really strongly advise you to find your way out. Okay, never be in an organization to say, I'm waiting for my boss to leave, because you have different career ambitions. Your boss has totally different career aspirations compared to you. Okay, so you don't want to get to that point in time where your career growth is determined by your boss's movements. Okay, so that is what I can basically say on that. So you need to reach that extent where you're saying, I either grow internally or I grow externally. And that's why you see, after I've finished 2 years in an organization, I start looking out. Okay, I don't actually wait for a time when it is really bad for me that I start searching. I start immediately, at least within, so that I know if an opportunity comes, I can evaluate it. It's not that every opportunity that I apply for, I join the organization. Main is to make sure that I'm putting myself outside there. Even when you do, by these interviews, okay, you're able to come back and say, I think I'm lacking this thing. This thing was asked, or this thing was a requirement. I think I need to work on this. So you're able to have a time, at least you can use to work on this aspect, okay? So that is why it's a continuous process. It's not a one-day thing that you just wake up and actually find yourself there. I think it's a continuous reflection, okay? And like I said, throughout your professional life, yours is to think about your career journey in a way of, in strategic way, okay? Ask yourself, what is in it for me within this organization? What is in it for me, for example, for the next 1 year or for the next 2 years within this organization or even within this role, okay? How can I use this current role that I'm in to be able to grow, okay? So that is something that you need to be able to take home, to make sure that you're not just waiting for the wind to throw to you any opportunity that comes out, but you actually doing something. Also, you being an active player in your search, okay? So give value, and then also make sure that you also try to look around and see the people that have grown, what has really helped them to grow, okay? And this is externally, but also internally. People who are in the positions that you want to join to, what has exactly helped them to grow, okay? Yeah. And then also understanding that you take on also, every time you do a performance review with your supervisor, listen to them and take on their advice, because, and also take on their feedback, okay? In most cases, we get feedback from our bosses and sometimes feel maybe they just don't like us, but sometimes that feedback could have a bigger impact onto the decision on either to elevate you or not elevate you, okay? And that's why some people don't take some of these performance reviews for granted, but these performance reviews have a bigger impact on you. You're able to, even if you're in an organization that does not have performance reviews, by the way, have times with your boss to ask about their feedback about your work, okay? That could be a one-off conversation, but also even as you continue to work with them, there are things that they bring to your attention. There are things that, issues that they bring according. So make sure that if they bring an issue to you today, that should be something that should not again appear next time. Yours should be continuous improvement, okay? We are not all perfect, but continuous improvement helps us to continue to grow, okay? And then the other is the visibility. By the visibility remains one of those key principles. Basically, get noticed within your workplace. Get noticed within your workplace and let your work represent you, okay? Where you have an opportunity to take initiatives, okay? For example, there's a project where maybe it's a cross-functional project, be part of it. It will play a big role in actually opening a door for you, okay? And all those things have really helped me as an individual. So I'm sharing a lot from experience. As well, develop your managerial and leadership skills, okay? Like I said, you want to become, in most cases, the promotions come with responsibility to supervise others. So develop leadership skills. And by leadership means you also being a role model to the rest of the workers, okay? To the rest of your peers. In a way or the other, there's a way your peers look up to you. Like there's that certain element within the organization that you are the go-to person, okay? And that's why you see also in mastering the skills, find that skill in the organization where you're the go-to person. It could be as simple as Excel. Maybe you're that person who actually understands Excel like no one else. So that you have value. We call, in that way, you're trying to increase your chances of, we call it what? Maybe in simple ways, you're trying to make sure that you are a key staff in the organization. I think one of the things that we have seen, especially during the times of COVID, is some people have lost their jobs, okay? And how people have lost their jobs is when it comes to let's say, making an evaluation on who stays and who remains, of course, holding other factors constant. And by other factors, I mean other factors due to say, maybe office politics and so on. But if other factors are held constant, people who actually find their way on the remaining list are people who have actually demonstrated that they need to remain, okay? Basically, they have demonstrated that they are key staff. So don't just be part of the ordinary, be part of the stuff that the organization values, that the organization doesn't want to lose, okay? Yeah, so that is something that you need to do every day when it comes to being within the organization, okay? And of course, your work ethics as well, okay? Your work ethics, your punctuality, your participation in meetings, your meeting deadlines, all those keep on keep on doing what? Keep on helping you. Now, one of the other things that I also want to encourage you as well is be your number one self-motivator, okay? And your self-motivation should come from your ambition in life, okay? Now, in most cases, we find ourselves, the organizations don't give us support systems to be motivated. Maybe you're actually earning a very small salary that you don't even have motivation. Maybe you have a bad boss, okay? Now, one of the things that I want to do is, despite the circumstances that you're going through, despite that low pay that you're earning right now, be your motivator. Like, motivate yourself to say that despite all that I'm going through, let me give this work my best. If at all, either it works out internally here or outside. I want to tell you that one time, there was a staff who was working under a given manager, okay? And this manager happens to have left this organization. And when they left this organization, they actually went the other side and they came for this staff, okay? And the position they came for this staff was even a higher position that this staff was going to. Now, just imagine if this staff was not doing their work rightly, okay? Because they were earning a lower pay and so on. Will the other boss have come for this person? Even you've moved to other organizations where somebody asks you, do you know anyone who you think is a good accountant, who you think is a good, let's say, administrator, or you think is a good HR person? And definitely people recommend you. Like, you see, when you're doing your work, it's not only about your boss, but also the other people also are key in giving a recommendation to you, okay? Either internally or outside, okay? So that is one of the things that you need to understand when it comes to that. I think one of, of course, motivation and discipline, of course, work hand in hand, by the way, okay? But also understanding, the discipline can come in, but there are also times where you feel like you're demotivated, because demotivation can come in because of your environment, where you feel like you're pushing. Sometimes you even struggle to wake up and go and work, okay? And you feel like, but then you feel like, what is really in it for me within this role, okay? What exactly do I need, okay? So in there, you're able to embed your discipline as well as the motivation to be able to be able to think about what exactly do you want in life, and what exactly would you want to, let's say, maybe get the next few years, okay? And then you're able to pitch it from there and build on it slowly by slowly. And I guess you can actually get somewhere, okay? So that is why I want to encourage you that despite whatever you're going through, make sure that you pushing through, okay? You're pushing through yourself, you're being more intentional, you're seeing what exactly to do, but everything that you're doing, make sure that you're building the right relationships, either with your boss, either with the people that are around you. In summary, your career growth is so much determined around when, let's say, the way you relate with the people, the communication, the relationships, the work that you do, the values that you stand for, and so on. All those have a lot of impact on who you will become, okay? And it's a continuous process. Like I said, of course, in the same way, what works for one person may not work for you, okay? But yours is to open your mind and read beyond just what is ordinary, beyond yours to find out what is the culture, okay? Organizations have different cultures, by the way. So understand yourself. For such an organization, what does it take for somebody to grow? And what has been the previous way of doing things? And what can I exactly do to actually come from my position to come to the next position, okay? So a lot can be shared, but in summary, be a person of value, okay? Be a person of value, and you not only be noticed internally, but you can get opportunities that will find you even outside the organization, okay? Today you can work with me as your supervisor, and it may take me maybe next 2 years to maybe hear about an opportunity, and I'll be able to reach out to you and say, you can actually do this opportunity, we worked together and you did a great work. So that is why your growth is not only about just growing internally, but make sure that the role that you're doing currently has in any way, it's creating opportunities, okay, for you. It's creating opportunities for you to actually get forward, okay? And if you find that whatever you're doing is not relevant to what you want to be in the next 5 years, I want to tell you that you better look for, even if it's a very small job, okay? But you know that it has a greater impact on who you will become after 5 years. That is the line that you should take, okay? Yeah. So very important for us to understand. So thanks so much for the comments that have come through here within the comment section, okay? And also understanding that, yeah, thanks for the stories, the experiences that you've shared. I think there's something that we can learn from each other, okay? And life is a continuous process of learning, okay? And we cannot exhaust everything, but yours is to continuously open yourself to learning. And that's what we call personal development, okay? Whatever you feel like you're not good at, because we are all not a master of everything, but find ways of how you can build the skills and also key things that will get you ahead, okay? Like, for example, the coaching sessions we are here, all this that we are sharing today, you may just do one thing of what we have shared here and it may create a bigger impact in your life, okay? Or what we have shared may just open something small that could actually create room for you to actually pitch on. So not everything may work for you based on your organization, but at least you have an enlightenment on what exactly can I, like I told you, by the way, success has a formula to it. Like everything that we see, even the Serena Williams that we see, the people that win the gold at the Olympics and so on. All these guys just don't sleep, wake up, sleep, and so on, and then they find their way there. There are certain things that they do. Okay, so what we are basically sharing this are some of the principles, some of the disciplines that you basically need along the way to actually get yourself to where you want to be. Okay, so don't just say that it happens out of luck. Like all this that you're talking about, I think some people are lucky and I'm not lucky. And by the way, you see, everything that you want to change in life all starts with self-belief, okay? All starts with the positiveness that you have within you to say that despite all circumstances, okay, despite my background, despite my situation, despite whatever my boss is, I can actually grow. And I have hope that I'll grow and I'll do what I can and maybe leave the rest to God, okay? So that is, if there's one thing that I want to tell you that to go with today is make sure that you're positive along to what you want to achieve, okay? Don't be discouraged and don't give up on your life, or because when you give up on your life, it means that at the end of the day, no one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Even when you present yourself, the self-belief will always reflect in the way you do your things, in your confidence, because somebody will be able to tell that this person is confident, this person is not confident. Okay, so that is one of the things that you need to take into consideration, to know that this is all about me. I have total responsibility about the life I need to live, and I have to work towards it. It will not be easy. There will not be roses, but I want to tell you that at one point in time, you reach there and you'll say, I made it here because I was resilient. I made it here because I didn't give up on my life. I made it here because I did A, B, C, and D. Okay, so that is the thing that I want to tell you. So it's not something that you're going to do just immediately and you'll get there, but it's a process. And this process requires a lot of resilience, requires a lot of discipline, requires a lot of self-belief, requires a lot of patience. There's an aspect of patience. And it also requires a lot of consistency, okay? By doing something over and over time. You don't just do good in the first 3 months and it doesn't work out and then you go back to your other aspects. Just make sure that you're consistent so that you build trust even to the external person, so that they know that if we trust this person with this kind of thing, they can actually execute it, okay? So thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure to just have this short conversation with you. And I believe that it has added value. It's basically just sharing my experiences, what I think, and what I've really learned along my journey as an employee, as a career coach, and as well as seeing how I can at least open your mind onto certain things in life. Sometimes it's by the coaching and mentorship is just like the way it's just like a key. Okay, you've opened a door one time, and maybe you have a batch of keys, and you have to look for a given key to keep trying, and then there's one person who just comes and says this is the key. Okay, so that's what coaching and mentorship helps. That instead of taking all that period of time figuring it out, you have somebody whom you can talk to, who has walked the journey that you're aspiring for, and they're able to open your eyes and see what exactly you need to take. Okay, so thanks so much, and I really wish you all the best. It's not easy, but guys, you'll make it. Just remain positive and just keep trying whatever you can do. Let you reach a point in time where you say, I've tried my best and things have not just worked out. But don't reach a point in time and say, I wish I tried this, I wish I did this right. Make sure that every day you're playing your part, and really the rest will come from God. Okay, so thanks so much, and I wish you all the best in your careers. I would love to end here. As indicated, it's a learning process, so we'll keep in touch. If you have any question from this session that we've not answered here, or a personal question, we can be able to interact at a personal level, and then we can see how to help each other. Okay, otherwise, all the best, and yeah, may God bless you in your journey as you pursue your journey to become a better person, to earn that career growth, to be promoted, to earn that pay rise, and yeah, be happy in life. Thank you, and wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Bye.